Morning, couple of minutes early, just wanting to pop in because I'm going to get a jump on the day myself as well. But it is a chilly morning, and there is a lot to talk about in the world of weather. First off, top two weather stories for us. Showers, even thunderstorms coming in tomorrow as the more mesoscale models are able to chew on the fat. We're kind of getting an idea, could get a couple of feistier cells. So we're going to take a look at our Futurecast model data. We're also going to take a look at the threats to us from that rain in just a few moments. And then after that stormy weather, it gets even colder. My friends, we are talking about the coldest air, not just of the season, not just of the last 12 calendar months, but in some ways, depending on how you look at it, the coldest air we have seen in 2+ years. So, yeah, have the long sleeves ready to go. First and foremost, let's just look outside live right now. A check-in on temperatures. These are live numbers. 44 in Orlando. It's 42 degrees in Leesburg, 39 outside in the Villages, and 39 degrees in Ocala and Daytona Beach. It is chilly, chilly, chilly. Comparing this to yesterday, it is cool. In some cases, it's even chillier. You add in a little bit of wind, and in some cases, we're even watching a bit of a wind chill. Okay, so it is cold outside. Our tower cam network, though, is gorgeous. Look at that. That's Daytona Beach. That's problem-free weather right there. Man, oh man, it's pretty. So certainly no clouds. We're not exactly looking at anything on our first warning live Doppler radar. One would just expect that, right? All right, so to the forecast then for the day ahead. Temperatures will climb, and as a matter of fact, will be milder today than we were yesterday, right? 62 11 a.m., 68 degrees by 1 p.m., 71 this afternoon. So, hey, chill in the morning, but then we're good to go later on in the afternoon. Here's a look at temperatures across Central Florida. 71 degrees in Ocala, Orlando, about 70 degrees in Sanford, upper 60s here for Titusville, New Smyrna Beach, in Daytona Beach, mid 60s there in Palm Coast. So temperatures are getting right where they should be this time of year, right? It's looking gorgeous for us. Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous stuff, right? But there's a storm system that's getting going. All right, let's just look at Futurecast on a super wide scale. All right, so this is basically what's happening right now. Got a storm system out over Oklahoma, working over to Arkansas and the like. I mean, this is Futurecast look at it, but we could even dial it up on the actual satellite. Bear with me just a moment. I'll pull it up. All right. So there it is. And of course, I've got a different color table on this one just because I've got cloud cover on there. But big winter storm system here from Kansas City over to Fort Smith, back over from Kansas to Missouri, from Oklahoma. You see, we've got the kind of deepish blue to whites. That's snow. What we're seeing in pink here, that's mixed precipitation. That's sleet and freezing rain and all of that mess. But on the south side of this, there's a cold front, and that cold front, as it develops, will be moving our direction, okay? So in looking at the overall pattern, notice that for tomorrow, we're actually going to be a bit warmer. Cold front arrives, sweeps that warm right out of here, and then ushers in a chill. And when we talk about a chill, y'all, we're talking about a chill. 50s for highs on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So let's look at the 7-day forecast together. There are some, big chill. And Joanne's asking, anyone else in Palm Bay get frost? Are you talking about this morning? Because I can tell you, most of us are going to be looking at some frost this week. Now, this at first glance is a lot of impact days. But I need you to understand that, first off, there's different reasons for those impact days, okay? So first and foremost, let's just look for Monday, thunderstorms moving in. We're calling that an impact day. Why? Because the Storm Prediction Center has actually highlighted our area as now having a level 1 out of 5 risk for isolated strong to severe storms for tomorrow. So we've needed to up tomorrow to an impact day. Okay, so there's that. So that's tomorrow's impact day. Then we look to the rest of the week, And notice, obviously, with morning low temperatures in the 30s the way that they are, widespread frost is to be expected. Thus, ground frost means impacts. So, yeah, Monday, gusty afternoon showers and storms. Could see one or two get a little feisty. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's going to be the freezing conditions north and west of town and the possibility of frost for almost the rest of town. Okay, so let's do this. Before we get in any deeper, let's just look at Futurecast and get an idea of when tomorrow's storms arrive. All right. If I can find it, there it is. All right, so here we are. Through today. I mean, today is fantastic. Look at today, gorgeous. All right, so for tomorrow, 9 a.m., we're looking fine, right? 10, 11, 12 o'clock, starting to see the rains arriving. All right, yeah. 2, 3 o'clock, storms getting into the metro, right? 4, 5 o'clock, and there could be enough oomph that we could see some of these thunderstorms get a little pulsed up, we'll say. All right. Nothing too feisty, but borderline, we'll say. So again, for tomorrow, it looks like by about 1 o'clock, it's starting in our northern areas, and then 2, 3 o'clock, kind of starting to get into the metro. 4 o'clock in the metro. 5, 6 o'clock, kind of clearing on out. All right. So that's kind of where we're at for the storms. Now, in terms of the chill, we'll put up the 7-day forecast again just to highlight it. In terms of the chill, once we get done with tomorrow's storms, obviously the skies are clearing. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, we've got some very cold temperatures ahead. Let's talk about who gets frost conditions, etc. All right, so first off, right now, Futurecast is saying Inland Flagler, Marion counties getting frost. Now, I've got frost on the roofs all over my neighborhood, and you probably do too. This modeling does not show that because it's very easy actually to develop frost on roofs. So what you're looking at when we show Futurecast in this mode is who has the threat for frost on the ground, dew turning to frost, that sort of thing. That is the dangerous part of frost, not for you and I necessarily, but for sensitive plants. All right, so Monday morning, we're not talking about frost. Temperatures will be warm enough. Now, Monday night into Tuesday morning, that's where we are starting to talk about our next opportunity. Not only next opportunity for frost, but a very widespread threat for frost. It looks like essentially everyone minus like lakefront communities, okay? That's ground frost. That's where your yards are going to look like it snowed. So Charles says frost on rooftops is about as close as we get to Florida snow. No. This is going to be as close as you get to Florida snow when our grass is all white and all of our little plants and stuff are white from the frost. Okay. So that's Tuesday morning. Should really stretch out. Northern areas will start to frost at about 2, 3 a.m., but the metro getting into frost for about an hour or two. All right, then it escapes during Tuesday's afternoon, but look at how Tuesday night, 10, 11 o'clock Tuesday night, already back to frosty conditions north of town, and it's just expanding across the rest of the area through Wednesday morning. So this stretch of chill is a significant stretch of chill. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, that 55 on Tuesday afternoon, that will be the coolest afternoon temperature that we have seen since January 14th of 2023. 24, 25, almost 2 years, right? So, yeah. And the last time we had a stretch of temperatures this chilly, you have to go back to 2022's Christmas. Which, if you don't remember, that 2022 Christmas was about as cold can get. You can tell I left my windows open because all that sun's coming in. So, apologize if it's a little distracting behind me. But yeah, all right. So we've got a pretty significant chill. So let's talk about high temperatures. All right. So first and foremost, let's just look at Monday. Because Monday, of course, that's going to be where the storms come in. All right. So the warmer the temperatures are, the more energy those storms will have. And you can see upper 70s. That'll do it, right? That'll give the storms energy. And I think that that's probably one of the reasons why the Storm Prediction Center upped us to that level 1 out of 5 risk. All right, for Monday afternoon. All right, Tuesday morning. We're just going day by day. No, please don't say it's refreshing. It's cold. No, I'm not saying it's refreshing. This is cold. This is just downright cold. Yeah. All right, Tuesday morning, 39 in the metro. 34 in Ocala, maybe a little optimistic. We may end up going chillier than that. I would say probably expect to be around freezing Tuesday morning in Ocala. All right, 37 in New Smyrna Beach, 41 in Melbourne. Tuesday afternoon, highs in the 50s. Again, coolest afternoon we have seen in years. That's the expectation here, all right? All right, Wednesday morning, 39 in Orlando. I would even say Ocala on this date, 31 or 30 would be my expectation. There's a magic to Ocala's temperature. I have seen, look, I have forecast. I started forecasting Central Florida weather in 2001, late 2001. There's a magic to forecasting. Now, this is based on model data, but as we get closer and closer, it's almost always that the Orlando temperature is 10 degrees warmer than the Ocala temperature. So that Ocala 32 may end up being 30 or 29, you know. So just know I'm watching that. That may get lower. All right, so that's Wednesday morning. Here's Wednesday afternoon. Still in the 50s for most of Central Florida, right? All right, Thursday morning. Still in the 30s to start. That Ocala temperature could even get lower, obviously. 36 in New Smyrna Beach, 37 in Palm Bay. The Thursday afternoon temperature still in the 50s. Okay, this is going to be cold. All right, Friday morning, 30s again. Notice the shoreline starting to get a little warmer. There's going to be a little bit more air. Gene is calling this fear porn. We always have a couple of days of chilly weather. Yes, we do always have a few days of chilly weather. It's also my job to talk about it. And if I'm trying to put fear in your heart, then I don't think you're listening to what I'm trying to say. Or maybe what I'm trying to say is just not coming across correct. I think all I'm doing is forecasting the weather, which is my job. It says meteorologist right there. Cool, back to regularly scheduled programming. All right, Friday morning, still the 30s and 40s around. Afternoon high temperature on Friday. Now we're starting to get a little closer to where Central Florida likes things. 64 in DeLand, 62 Daytona Beach, 66 in Kissimmee. Remember, the average high temperature, 71-ish by this point in time, right? 71, 72. Saturday, waking up in the morning, 40s. All right, there we go. Saturday afternoon, 60s, even some 70s. So there you go, my friends. We do often get chilly weather in January, but it's my job to let you know it's here, baby. Yukon, you're just telling us it's going to be cold out. That's right. Frank says, but where's the port? These people sometimes. Kelly, you know, always sassy. You know. Yep, just doing the job. Just doing the job. All right, so that's kind of where we're at. And then what's interesting is Saturday, as we're warming up, more showers, another cold front. Yeah. Ashley says, low key, kind of sad it's not going to flurry. I'm not. I don't want to deal with people. I want to deal with the people freaking out. They're already freaking out thinking I'm trying to hype cold air. Wait until somebody says that it's my fault that it's not snowing because I didn't push the snow button. then we've hit peak crazies. All right. So that's kind of where we're at, friends. Questions, comments, concerns? Jeannie Rowan, this is not unprecedented. People like to live and die. Yeah, this is January. This is January. I always like to say that people always get frustrated when it gets cold in Florida. And it's like, it's still January, right? Like, we do still have our cold spells. The difference is when we look at the modeling, our cold spells don't include snow. Like, look at St. Louis. Bleh, some snow. Look at Washington. See that? Let's just look here. Like the Eastern Seaboard. This is our Futurecast model. Look at that. Is Washington, D.C. going to get into some snow? Look at that. Ooh. Atlantic City going to be on the boardwalk getting some snow. It looks like south of New York City. Look at that, though. Washington, D.C. going to get some snow. The Delmarva going to get some snow. No snow in Central Florida. Super glad for that. All right. So that's where we're at. Will February be warmer? You know, we get cold spells in February for sure. Yeah. Charles says, but I want my Gulf effect snow. Slap that big red button. I don't have a big red button. I'm sorry. I don't have the button. Betty says, I'm from Cincinnati. 10 to 12 inches due today. Glad I'm here. Ooh. I'm glad you're here too. Yeah. You can control the weather, but you won't do dances to do yeah. Truth. Truth. My mama got 4+ inches of snow this weekend north of Pittsburgh. There's a reason I love living in Florida. Many reasons. Michelle says, I'd rather not get snow. I love my weather here in Florida. Yeah. Yeah. So while the rest of the country gets snow, we do not. Now, that said, if you've got travel plans today, just know that obviously our weather is not terrible, but there are some issues due to said snow. 18 delayed flights, Orlando International Airport right now. 7 canceled flights. It's a big red button. It's a BS button. I give vault. Let's see here. Let's look at the National Airspace System. See if there's any big delay programs already. No. Just checking for anybody wanting to make travel. Yeah. All right. So there's no big. So anything that is delayed right now is localized in nature. The Chiefs were stuck at the airport in Kansas City for 4 hours because of the ice and snow. I mean, that's a mess. Nicole says, as a former Alaskan, I'm so excited for this cold front. As long as you know that we don't get the snow. During Central Florida winters, what we end up with is we get a cold front. So we warm up as the cold front is approaching us. Then storms come through. Then the temperatures drop off. And then we start to warm up ahead of a cold front. We get some showers. Could even have some storms in there on Saturday. And then the temperatures will drop back off. So yeah, that's our weather. Being that we are surrounded by water on 3 sides, so not fully surrounded, but you get the idea, the weather always wants to moderate because the ocean is milder. So it's kind of cold front, then eventually we want to moderate, then cold front, and then eventually we want to moderate, that sort of thing. All right? That's where we're at. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go fly. I'm going to take the family up in the plane. We're going to go fly today. Ocala might get snow. No, Tiffany, Ocala's not going to get snow. My 4-year-old niece loves the button. She thinks it's hilarious, but she may let you borrow it. No, she can have it. I'll ask her to push it for me. Does that work? Susan's asking, do we need to cover plants? Yes. So looking at this week ahead, that's why we've got the impact icon. Now for Monday, it's the chance of some stronger storms, but that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's why the impact icon is there. Because yes, sensitive plants, yeah. Like I've got palms. I don't think I'm going to cover them up. I don't think it's going to be quite cold enough for that. But if you've got sensitive plants, yeah, that's why we're calling impact weather for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's that widespread frost and that extended freeze north and west of town. All right. Probably breakfast, Chris. Brunch. Probably a little brunch. All right, friends. That's all I got. That's all I got. So we've got a cold stretch. Allow your hubbies in from the doghouse. Yeah, Mike says, ladies, allow your hubbies in from the doghouse too. That's right. That's right. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Listen, thank you all for hanging out for coffee talk. Be the sunshine. You can tell I closed the blind. Don't judge me. Um, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Enjoy today. Today looking great. We'll have a couple of storms to track tomorrow. Be all right. It is, Brian. All right. Be good, you all. Take care. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Bye.